What's up, guys? Welcome to More Than a Conversation, Episode 3. I'm glad to finally have us here because we have experienced 3 days of technical difficulties on our end, and may I say, it has not been fun. But as usual, I am joined by my friend, Forever the Arrowverse.
What's up, everybody?
What's up? And so, we are glad to be here streaming, talking about our topics today. So, for our first topic, we're going to dive into is it was actually hinted at being week two's potential topic early, but we decided to make it this week. And it turns out we will be reviewing the Flash movie. Now, Arrow, what was
hmm
your thoughts on the Flash movie as a whole?
As a whole, as a movie, it's not bad, but it's a part of a bigger universe and the character. I walked out the theater nitpicking it, but
Yeah,
I love the character that much to where that was gonna happen regardless. So,
yeah. And see, like me, when I watched it the first time, I was trying to ignore like all the bias that my brain was telling me that I had, and
hmm
because it was just constant like, oh my gosh, Ezra Miller situation, oh my gosh, bad CGI, oh my gosh, movie's terrible, oh my gosh, poor bad
hmm
box office scores, and I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, I'm hearing all these bad things about it, but
yeah, because
I
you watched the film a little later
yeah,
than most.
yeah, I wanted to go watch it sooner, but just family issues and church
Yeah.
things just hindered me from going. But I was finally able to go watch it, and I say I see where all the bad reviews are coming from,
hmm
and there was points in the movie where I laughed. There was points in the movies where I started getting emotional. But the
hmm
overarching like feeling that I had watching it was just like that's 2 hours and 30 minutes I'm never gonna get back. And then I kind of just actually felt kind of let down through most of the movie because me, I've never really been like a big DC guy, right? I've never been like head over heels
Right.
for the DC
hmm
movies, so I'm not as emotionally invested in some of these characters like you, Arrow.
hmm
So like seeing a movie like this, it wasn't doing it for me. But
Yeah.
that's not to completely like destroy the movie, but I because I did mention that like the movie did have some strong points in it, um, like all the scenes uh, with the Flash and his mom. I tell you,
hmm
every time he saw his mom, I would say probably a single tear just came to my eye and was just ready to fall, given they say the right words. Because
Yeah.
see,
It's supposed to be emotional.
mhm.
I just wish that we would have had more of it because,
Oh yeah,
he created a whole flashpoint. It's kind of the whole point
yeah.
of creating that is to spend time with your mom. Who didn't. So,
Yeah, and that's one thing that I really noticed is because like he went back in time to save his mom, but when he went back in time, the only things he did was basically give his old self some powers and then tried to get back to his timeline the entire film.
right. Yeah.
And it's just like you see the mom in the beginning of the movie, then he goes on this big adventure, and then when he makes his
hmm
moral decision at the end, you see his mom just like there for just a split second again before it's
hmm
just like, oh, she gone.
hmm
So,
So, what was your favorite part of the movie?
favorite part of the movie?
Because I'm sure we have a lot to discuss on the not so great end.
Yeah, on the not so great end. So, yeah, let's go ahead and dive into the strong points. Strong points, I will say, though he was poorly introduced, I love Michael Keaton. And he
hmm
did I think he did good with what he was given.
What do you mean poorly introduced?
Like, I mean, not like poorly introduced, but it felt like he was kind of just like thrown into the movie. Like, it felt like he like technically
Hmm.
wasn't supposed to be there. Like, we didn't like pick up
Right.
where like we don't hear anything about like where he left off in his Batman movies, or
Right.
we don't see like an introduction, or like all we got for him is basically just like, let's fight this old guy in this kitchen, and then he's gonna explain the multiverse to us, and now boom, we have like no past information other than
All right. To be
young
fair, to be
Barry saw him on
fair,
TV.
to be fair, explaining the multiverse and breaking timelines with spaghetti
That was big brain. That was very big brain.
was pretty sick.
I did thoroughly enjoy that because I like that he I like that he I like the whole spaghetti analogy, but at the end of the day, I'm
Hmm.
still sitting here like, this is one really good detective because he went from being like Batman to now suddenly he's explaining the multiverse to two teenagers in his kitchen with spaghetti. So it
So
was
Michael Keaton hit the nostalgia jackpot for you.
yeah, I really liked seeing Michael Keaton. It was cool getting to see him again because I remember there was a couple times when I was a kid because I didn't really get to watch the Michael Keaton films when I was in my teenage years. I haven't really gone back to watch them, but I remember being like a little kid sitting on the couch with my parents, and we'll cut on one of the Michael Keaton films and we just watch it
Hmm.
and just chill there as a family. And those are some of my like earliest memories of Batman. It's just watching those. So I'm trying to think if there was really any other strong point that I enjoyed, but yeah, there isn't much to work here for me. So what was your strong points for the film?
Um, this might be a little controversial, but I really think Ezra outdid himself with his
Really,
performance. Hmm.
really,
Yeah. Um, I mean, I always I went into this movie, I was able to separate the art from the artist. I was like, whatever he did, that's for the government to decide, the legal system to decide. I'm just here to watch the movie. I mean, he recorded this before everything happened, so I think he did a fantastic job, not only playing himself, but multiple another version of himself, right?
yeah,
So I think that was the strongest point.
yeah. Because it's very tough because you see a lot of times when these actors they start doing these acts where they've got to play two of themselves.
Hmm.
Either the characters blend together too well and you can't differentiate them, or it just feels really awkward. But like you said, I actually, now looking back on it, I think Ezra did do a really good job with the acting. Because, you could tell that both Barrys were the same guy, essentially. You could tell that like some of
Hmm.
the characteristics and stuff. But I also like that you could tell that they're two different people because of the personalities and things. And it's also interesting because, seeing how when Flash went back in time
Hmm.
and prevented his mother's death,
Hmm.
now seeing the trajectory that young Barry went on, and now he's developing
Hmm.
like different mannerisms, different actions.
Right. Well, I mean, the whole point of the mother's death is for him to get into forensics,
Yeah,
and he doesn't do that if his mother doesn't die.
right.
So
And so, yeah,
that's why you could tell a little bit that Flashpoint Barry had just a little bit of a dumber tone
yeah,
than our Barry did.
because yeah, he never went to forensics and all of that, trying to solve his mother's murder, and
Hmm.
he didn't get them good brain smarts.
Hmm.
um,
All right. I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about this, but I want to briefly point on Iris West.
Iris
What
West.
did you think on the character of Iris West?
Um, well, you see, okay, so for me, I only got to see West for one scene because I had to step out of the room for a second, so I didn't see the first
Mm-hmm.
introduction. But actually,
Mm,
I did get to see her twice when she came to visit the apartment and then at the end of the film.
hmm.
And I think she did a good job. You know, it's
So
tough getting.
you missed the part where I have beef with the character.
Yeah, that. I knew that you would probably have beef because I don't really know how to take Iris. I felt like she kind of just like showed up randomly, but it is a movie directed to Barry, so surely she would have to show up at some point. But the thing is how do you
Right.
introduce her?
Hmm.
Um, and it is tough getting like the bias out of your mind, like you're used to like CW Iris West,
Right.
and now
Yeah.
you're seeing someone new, just like how it
Hmm.
was getting used to seeing Ezra Miller as Flash.
Hmm.
Now it's going to be getting used to seeing if they choose to develop the character of Iris West more. Um, see,
I mean, they don't really have a choice. They're kind of in game.
yeah, because now they've kind of
But
just
I mean, we might not even ever see another Flash movie,
right,
at least for a while.
yeah, because you know they've done. I think they've done the setup they need to. So I think they're really just going to be focusing on more other CW films and building up the other characters and stuff. Like I see I don't know what they're going to do about the Batman situation. That's up to them to figure out. But they've got the new Superman movie coming out.
Hmm.
Um,
Superman Legacy.
yeah, and then they've got the new Aquaman coming out.
That's still part of the Snyderverse, though. That's
Yeah,
probably gonna flop so hard.
it probably
To be
will.
honest,
And if it flops,
that's probably gonna flop harder than the Flash movie.
yeah.
Actually,
And actually, if it flops, then do we see Jason Momoa released from being Aquaman and a new actor take on the
well,
Trident in
I
green
don't.
spandex?
Well, the if it flops, it has nothing to do with Jason
I
Momoa.
know, but
I mean,
just
the two
saying
main
because
points that it's gonna flop is because it's not part of James Gunn's universe, so it's gonna be.
uncanon.
It's kind of pointless to
Yeah.
watch it if it's not gonna mean anything.
Right.
And two, the whole Amber Heard situation,
Yeah.
and everyone's boycotting the film because of her.
Yeah.
So,
Which for me though, I feel like with James Gunn coming in and, you know, rebooting the universe per se, I
hmm.
really wish instead of them just going in there and getting rid of Gal Gadot and getting rid of Henry Cavill, I really wish instead of just nitpicking who you're getting rid of, just get a whole new clean slate of actors. Instead of
Yeah,
like,
but the thing is James Gunn had already done some little work during the Snyderverse.
yeah,
So he did Peacekeeper, he did the Suicide Squad. So he wants to keep those characters.
right.
But in Peacekeeper, I think Aquaman made an appearance. So they're already tied. So he can't say that they were
Yeah.
Elseworlds because they were already tied to the main
Didn't the
DCEU.
Flash show up in Suicide Squad at one point or something?
I
I
think
thought
it
he
was
did with like
Peacekeeper.
Captain Boomerang or something.
I think it was Peacekeeper.
Peacekeeper.
I
Yeah.
don't know about the Suicide. I don't remember about the Suicide Squad. He could
Yeah, I
have.
personally I didn't watch Suicide Squad. I just saw like the ending of one of the movies. Really, I didn't take the time to go watch them. I should have because I hear a
That's
lot
because
of good things
you don't
about them.
like you don't like DC.
Yeah, I'm not a big DC guy, but I've heard a lot
That's
of
gonna
people say
change
good
though.
things about Suicide Squad, and so you know maybe it's worth revisiting one day. But
The Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad.
what?
The original one is garbage.
Oh, so the sequel one is better.
No, it's a reboot. It's
Oh,
not a
reboot.
sequel. Yeah.
Oh, see that goes to show you how much I know about Suicide Squad and DC and all that situation.
Well, DC's been in shambles for years, so I mean, you're
Yeah,
not really missing anything.
right. And so Yeah, never really kept up with a lot of the DC characters.
Hmm.
And I mean, I did in the past, but it's just like in like my time I've seen like four different Batmen and um like three different Supermen, and so now it's just to the point where it's just like these actors they're getting subbed out so quickly. Like I don't even like could you even say that some of these actors have solidified themselves as iconic actors for these roles?
As like DC goes,
Yeah, like as DC goes, like when you think back on Superman,
um,
do you think Henry Cavill when you think Superman?
no, it's Christopher Reeve's Superman, in
Exactly.
my opinion. But that's yeah. I mean, he really built a legacy. Like that was it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anyone else can't get there,
Right.
but Henry Cavill I mean, he wasn't done right by the studio for him to
Yeah.
even be able to remotely be in that conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, the character development that he would have had if he was given a proper 2 to 3 movie slate, 4 movies,
Oh yeah.
he'd be right there with Christopher Reeves. But he didn't get that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that goes for the same with, Ben Affleck as Batman. Like, these guys didn't have a lot of time to actually
Develop their role. They're kind of just thrown
develop
in.
the character and feel the character,
Yeah.
portray that emotion.
Yeah, because like, what was
So,
it when we saw Ben Affleck Batman? He was already Batman going
mhm.
through the streets beating crap out of people before we saw.
Yeah, he was on an established Batman, which wasn't a bad take.
Yeah,
A lot of people like to crap on that, but
yeah. Which
um,
I think one of the
I think and this might be a little biased because I love the CW, but I think if you're looking at iconic roles, like people being iconic roles, Grant Gustin as the Flash and
mhm,
Stephen Amell as Arrow. I mean,
mhm,
that's in my opinion
right.
because I mean they also had 9 seasons to develop all of, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like how
So
long did Arrowverse run?
about 10 years,
Yeah, so 10 years of just
ten
character
and a half
development
years.
for both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Right.
those guys they had the character development. People
Mm-hmm.
could recognize the faces, they could recognize the characters, and then people became emotionally attached to them because you're getting invested in the story.
Right.
Unlike these movies where
Right.
you get an hour and 30 minute, 2 hour movie about a character who you've got really just like you already see him like you don't really see that like upgrade bringing because I like the one the some of the best things I like seeing, especially with characters like Superman and Batman,
Mm-hmm.
is seeing that early childhood. Like the one prop that I did, they did it kind of poorly, but in Henry Cavill's Superman film, Man of Steel,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
liked seeing it from that point of view as a young Clark Kent going to school and he's just now starting to get his powers.
So you would really like Smallville.
Probably, probably.
You would really like Smallville.
Um,
Smallville has nothing to do with Superman. It's just Clark Kent going to high school, trying to
mhm,
figure out his powers.
yeah, and so like I got like,
Obviously, he
and like the,
graduates from high school, but
and then it was also just like that that moral contest of just like the kids are drowning in the school bus. Do I use my powers to save the kids, or
mm-hmm.
do I let all the kids die to
Right.
keep my secret? And then he
Right.
saves the
Mm-hmm.
kid. Then you see him again as he's older. That moral contest of he knows he can save his father, for say.
I have a bone to pick with that one, actually.
Yeah, I know it was weird, a weird way to do it, but
There's
the
a
moral
mediocre
decision.
20 people under that bridge. Like,
Yeah,
screw them. I'm going to say my dad. Like, I'm not going to let
yeah,
him die
yeah.
over this.
And but
And
you still just got him over there, just like no, don't do it.
the whole point of his dad dying is to learn the lesson that he can't save everyone because he dies of a heart attack. He can't save a heart attack.
Right,
He could save a man from a tornado.
right.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
that's pretty much the only bone that I had to pick with Man of Steel. I
yeah.
thoroughly liked Man of Steel.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, We're sidetracking off of the Flash.
We totally are, but I think that's basically the story of the Flash movie. It is that
Mhm.
it's easy to move on from it, in my opinion.
Um,
But
what
anyway,
about Act 3 specifically
Act
of
Three
the Flash?
specifically,
Hmm.
um, it was cool in Act Three getting to see some of the developments. Like you're seeing Barry just suddenly start whipping out like moves and abilities we had no idea how he learned or did or anything. Suddenly he's
Hmm.
like summoning tornadoes and shooting lightning out of his hands. But it was cool
Hmm.
getting to see those. Um,
Hmm.
and it was an interesting take because seeing young Barry on the battlefield,
Hmm.
um, not he hasn't come into using his abilities yet, and so we kind of like have this student teacher thing. But I don't
Hmm.
know, bits and pieces of the student teacher thing in the Act Three felt a little off. Like it felt weird.
Like they were in the heat of battle and they're just like standing there talking
Yeah, like
about.
you just see like three Marines just get blown up behind them, and they're just sitting there talking like, "Yeah, man, make this triangle with your hands."
I think Act 3 was really the worst part of the movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just so bad.
yeah, and
Oh, like
also,
the entire Act 3. Like I don't even think there was one single good part in Act 3.
yeah, because like even when I thought of, like back when like Act Three was beginning, right? You got
Mhm.
Supergirl flying and she sees Zod land and talk to the Marines, and
Mhm.
then they don't.
Supergirl's character was complete
She
waste in the
was,
movie.
which we'll
So
get to.
pointless.
Yeah, we'll get to her in just a second. But to the point that I was making is that we see Zod talking to the Marines, and then they start annihilating the Marines, and so I figured like, oh, that's about it for now. I mean, they're about to go just destroy all these Marines, and then they're gonna go attack the city. But no, it's like Barry gets his powers back, and where do they go? Back to the desert, where suddenly there's even more Marines, and it's some like World War III style battle with high casualty rates, and just it felt like the whole military thing was done, but then it got revisited, and like the military grew like three times its size, and I don't
I
know.
mean, if you get attacked at your base, you're probably calling backup, right?
I mean, yeah, but still, you think they're gonna deliver like 300 Abrams tanks to the front lines in 30 minutes? It's gonna take them a lot longer to get there. Like it would have made more sense for me. It would have made more sense for me for the like from that scene. This is just the point of view that I looked at it. If you're gonna like have the military do a big battle, it would have made more sense for like the military just gets utterly annihilated right there, and then the military sets up defenses around the city and tries to do like a last like city defense versus them, and that's where you have the big battle between the new Justice League and Zod,
Interesting.
instead of just
I still
watching.
think revisiting Zod
Yeah, that was just a
alone
weird take. That was a very weird take.
was a terrible decision.
Yeah, and so I didn't like it, and so now transitioning from Act Three back to Supergirl. There's one other point I will make about Act Three, but that will tie more into the end. Um,
Mhm.
but Supergirl,
Mhm.
wasted, just wasted.
Yeah, it was so brutal.
Um,
Everything about like the whole like her performance was kind of bad.
mm-hmm.
I don't really blame her though. Like, they probably wanted to just sort of Supergirl take.
Kind of just have the Superman figure in the film, basically.
Right, because they didn't want to give us Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and so
yeah, it
like
was just brutal.
for me, like beginning to end, like I saw her in the beginning. She gets rescued. Given, yes, she's weak from being in the cellar, but
Hmm.
this girl comes out of the cellar and fights like a freaking Mortal Kombat Injustice character, looking like she was about to drop a nasty combo on a couple of them Russian soldiers. But
Hmm.
But other than that, it was just like that scene just felt kind of awkward. I mean, sure, there was like the one scene that I would say would like that actually looked good, and that was you had Michael Keaton fighting, you had young Barry fighting, and you had Supergirl kind of flying around fighting, and then you got like old Barry just running around trying to stay alive. And there was about a
Yeah.
2 second shot that it actually looked cool. Then it just went back to cringe as
Hmm.
soon as you saw like Supergirl just throw a guy into a wall and he explodes. Then it was just gone.
Yeah.
Um, and then it got to Act. Then even before Act 3, it was just like it felt like the like stiff, like me and you've talked about in the past. It was very stiff, just like, hello, sorry, he's gonna kill
Hmm.
everyone. Just like there's
Hmm.
just like really a lack of emotion there as a character.
Plus, like the to go from I have no compassion for humans and the human race to yeah, I'll help you save them.
Yeah, and just like it, like
You know what I'm
all
saying?
she did was
Like it doesn't.
she saw Zod just kill some Marines, and she's like,
Right.
I will help you kill Zod.
Right. Not that she just didn't body like Russian soldiers 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, but then again, those people were her torturers, so
I get that, but
yeah.
you think Superman would have killed them?
I don't know. You did. I don't think we've really
It
seen
is
Superman
difficult
in a
to say
situation like that.
because Clark's morals do come from the Kent family, and he
Yeah,
didn't have a Kent family.
like he had that whole family dynamic, and then she's over here just like
Hmm.
locked in a Russian base, and her only interaction with people has been when they're testing her.
What I want to know is how she died from a sword on multiple
I
occasions.
think this. I think the point it's trying to make is that it's Kryptonian steel because it's part of his Kryptonian suit, but they're not. They don't tell us that because they figured that the fans would put the pieces together. Because for some reason Kryptonian tech has a bigger effect, or not for some reason, the Kryptonian tech has had a run of having an effect on the Supermen,
Mm.
but
That still would be something to explore.
mm-hmm, because just like Zod whips out this knife, boom,
How
kills
did
Supergirl, she
What I
dead.
want to know is how he had powers in his suit.
Yeah, for
He's
real,
not supposed to
because
have powers until.
it was when or when Superman took his helmet off and he was exposed to everything
Hmm.
that he started seeing like how Earth's atmosphere works and everything.
Right.
Like they got the
Hmm.
super jump and like the like super strength and all that we saw displayed in Man of Steel, but just which I think actually looking back on the film, we didn't see anything from them. We didn't see like Zod and them flying using laser eyes. They basically just did the same thing they did in Man of Steel. They just jumped a lot and did super punches, really.
Well, they were able to freaking look the Flash dead in the eye and stop him as he was running.
Oh yeah, they did
How did he do that?
they did kind of develop speed, but then but they are kind of quick when they do like their dash forward thing. I don't know. I feel like that's worth that you could talk about that scene for a minute and just talk about their abilities, and we would reach a conclusion. But another cringy part, or a part that I thought that might would have helped Act Three, or a little bit, is why the heck did baby Superman have to die? Man did not deserve that. And I was
Baby,
really
baby Clark got canned.
yeah, he got canned. Like
And
it
Zod
was
was
just
like, I'm
like
not taking no chances.
like
Kills the baby.
this is not the kid. This is not it. Let's kill him right here. Boom, dead. And for me, it actually like I was sitting on the edge of my seat for like that whole Supergirl Zod interaction.
Hmm.
And when she was trying to figure out what the world happened to Kal-El, I was waiting for him to just like come walking out of the back of the ship like full like black Zod attire, and then you had to have a Supergirl versus Superman battle for a second.
Probably would have been better.
That's exactly what I think. It would have been better, other than
And
just
at
like,
least that explains some type of Zod's existence and reasoning for being in the movie.
yeah, but no, she just throws a temper tantrum because he killed Kal-El, and then just punches him a few times before like getting stabbed in the gut.
Again and again
And
and
again and
again and
again.
again.
And another really cringy thing was when young Barry got that sword stabbed through his arm, and
Hmm.
he's just running around casually with this blade hanging off his arm, and he even went and killed the
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
super lady with it, and it was just like just chill with like this just sharp piece of metal just hanging through his arm, like, ooh, I can use this.
Yeah. That was funny.
It was funny, but I was sitting there and I was just like, why is this dude running around
Funny,
like this?
funny because it's stupid, not
Yeah.
because it has actual meaning.
Yeah. But yeah, I really Act 3 was a major letdown. And then when you get into the ending of the film, like
Hmm.
my whole thought for the film direction was going to be, in the beginning of the movie we see the mysterious figure in the Speed Force, right? And
Right.
so I was thinking that it was going to be some ending to the film where you have the new Justice League go in, they save today, they kill Zod, they save the city. But
Hmm.
then mysterious guy from the Speed Force shows up and basically does this big battle with them, and like maybe like disconnects the berries from the timeline and fights them like inside a Speed Force zone or something. I don't know. But it was just, or just see them like zooming all over the world fighting or
Hmm.
something. But how we just got Michael Keaton and Supergirl just repeatedly dying, and then they go into the Speed Force, and Young Barry's trying to like resolve it, and now we have basically like wannabe Savitar, like ancient version of Young Barry who's been trying to save the timeline for too long.
Which I thought was a neat idea.
It was a neat concept, yeah, but like dude just
But
showed up and like died instantly because he tried to like take out Barry, and young Barry took it, so that guy only had like
yeah,
a minute of screen time.
yeah, which is fine. It's kind of annoying because it was foreshadowed the entire movie, and you
That
were
there
like,
was this
"Oh, this
mysterious guy
must
in
be
the
the
speed.
big bad.
Yeah.
We're gonna get like this massive fight at the end," and
Oh no, wait.
it never happened.
He's just young Barry, but old now, and
Yeah, it
he's got
just
this
never
motive to
happened.
keep trying to save Supergirl.
Not that we even had a big fight,
Yeah. There
to
really
be
wasn't any
honest.
big climactic battle, really. Every time one would start, it would basically end,
Yeah.
really. And what was it? What was the other thing I was talking about? And then it was interesting getting to see like a multiverse type deal, which woo, Marvel. But now you're starting to see like the
Uh-huh.
multiverse of Flashes and stuff, and like all of them are going to the Speed Force to try and rewrite their problems and stuff.
Yeah, the cameos didn't really hit for me.
Yeah, they didn't.
I mean, I think the only one that I liked was Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
Obviously
no.
they should have
What
had.
about Nicolas Cage Superman? I mean,
Um,
no, but I actually
I'm
didn't
not
know it.
exactly.
I,
I'm not
I
exactly like for it, but I wasn't against it either.
yeah, I was sitting there when I saw it. I was just like, what?
I
Why
mean, the
is this here?
CGI was just
Yeah, the CGI
horrible
was
in
terrible on
those.
him. Like, dude actually looked
Yeah,
like a zombie. Um,
yeah, it was pretty bad.
but then, like, I actually had no idea that that was an actual thing that Warner Brothers
Oh yeah,
tried to do, was have a
yeah.
Nicolas Cage
It was a
Superman.
cancel. Yeah, it was a canceled movie in the '90s. It was gonna happen, and then they canceled it. And in that movie, he was gonna fight that giant spider or whatever it was.
Yeah,
So I mean,
yeah, but
his whole concept and everything too was it was that suit with the long hair. That
mm-hmm,
was his whole thing.
yeah,
But
I don't know. It was just a weird addition, but
It
Um,
was weird that Nicolas Cage got a cameo as Superman, but Grant Gustin couldn't get a cameo as the Flash.
exactly, exactly.
Like there was so many Superman and Batman cameos in a Flash movie. It was so crazy.
Yeah, for real. Like we get so many different versions of Batman, so many different versions of Superman, and what we saw like three different Barrys.
Do you know what's funny? The one cameo that was a Flash that wasn't like DCEU related. He was running in the chromosphere or whatever it was.
Yeah,
And he had the helmet on.
yeah, and
That's
a lot.
that's Teddy Sears who played Jay Garrick in season 2
Yeah,
of The
like I saw,
Flash.
I saw a
And
controversy
they
about
used
that.
a Flash. They used a man that was pretending to be the Flash, who was actually Zoom, as a Flash cameo in the movie.
Yeah, that's what I noticed because what was it? I saw something on Twitter about it that he was saying like, I don't remember getting invited to the film.
Right.
Fans keep
It was
sending me this
completely
image.
CGI.
Yeah, he's like, fans keep sending me this image saying, "Hey, look, you were in the movie," and he was like, "I don't remember getting called there."
Yeah,
Yeah,
that whole all that cameo type thing was just
yeah.
they were trying to compete with No Way Home
Mm-hmm.
on a broader scale, and it was just so bad.
It was bad.
It
But
was
I
really
did
bad.
another thing that I did. I will say that I liked about the film, and that
Oh, we
was
have we have a second like.
a second like. You know, actually finally getting
It's
to
like,
the end of this.
the best part of the Flash movie was
Like,
actually Michael Keaton's Batman.
no, no, like,
It wasn't even the Flash himself.
no, but look, now looking back on the film in full review,
Hmm.
one thing that I did really like about the film was Barry's character development.
Yeah.
You're starting to see him mature as a character
Hmm.
and realize the importance of, I can't save everyone. Just like how we said the same thing happened with Superman.
Right.
I can't save everyone. Same thing happened with Flash. They
Hmm.
say, look, something's just got to happen.
Right.
And to see him start maturing. And like you got like goofy young Barry that's just like super immature, always doing that god awful laugh.
Mhm. Oh
Um,
my words.
that oh, it got to the point where if anything remotely funny that guy would have laughed at, I just had to plug my ears up because that laugh just wasn't it for me. Um, but I did like seeing the character development, and then even though it was short, we got to see a little bit of character development for young Barry.
Just a tad. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah,
a
it
massive
was. It was like
character
as soon as
development.
as soon as he started getting like a what you all gonna be doing out here?
That lady's coming to get this VBS stuff today, and Miss Becky's gonna help me get it together real quick.
All right, I'll move this to the other room.
Stay right there, unless it's gonna.
Well, the thing is if you make a lot of noise, it'll.
Yeah.
And so I'll just move to the other room.
Shut Timothy's door. He's not up yet.
I know. Be like temporary intermission. Temporary intermission.
This is like 2 weeks in a row that bro just left me mid podcast.
I have not left you. I am still here. Ignore the slamming door. Because my laptop, technically, I have to still go outside and grab my phone. But I won't have to, like, disappear for, like, a whole, like, 3 minutes. I just gotta go grab my phone. So, yeah. Give some random hot take.
There was like multiple characters in this movie that were completely pointless and should not have been in the movie. And I'm not just talking about like random cameos. I'm talking about like Patty and like that situation should have never been in the movie. Supergirl, obviously we've dabbled on that a little bit. taking a little bit longer to get his phone than we thought.
I have returned.
Finally.
I'm sorry. But
Oh.
you know that church stuff?
You couldn't have finished the podcast without your phone?
What?
I said you couldn't finish the podcast without your phone?
Well, I have my stream manager pulled up on my phone, so if anyone chooses to
Oh.
chat and post like viewer questions and stuff, I'll only see
I
it
got
on
you.
my phone. So that's how I tell like how many viewers is. That's how it helps me monitor how long we're going, and if I need to edit like stream info, like change the name of the podcast or something, or
I got you.
change something about it, it's just easier to do it on my phone. So yeah.
All right,
so
there's a
wrapping
scene, there's a scene that I want to talk about real quick.
up- All right.
In the beginning, where Barry went to Gotham to help Batman,
Right.
when the hospital collapsed and Barry had to save all the babies without actually touching them.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that?
I got to see the start of it, but that how I said how I stepped out during the first Iris scene. I also stepped out, like, that's how long I had stepped out. I stepped out like near the end of the baby scene, and didn't step back in until the first Iris scene was over.
Bro, so did you see him put the baby in the microwave?
I did watch a YouTube video, and it showed the entire like baby saving scene, and it
Did you see the bridge scene with the lasso of truth?
no,
So Wonder Woman showed up,
bro. I think
and she showed up. I'll try and send you a YouTube clip later, but she showed up, and Batman and the guy who he had to get the deadly chemicals from was dangling over a bridge, right?
Mhm.
And so she pulled them up with the lasso of truth. And so arguably Batman was saying about his ego and all of that, right?
Mhm.
And then Barry swoops in and for some reason touches the lasso of truth, right?
Mhm.
And he said, I know that sex exists, but I haven't been able to experience it.
What in the world?
Yeah. Yeah, it was so funny.
What the heck?
I can't believe you stepped out on that, bro.
That had to be the scene that I stepped out of. Probably one of the few moments of that movie that I would have shared like a really good laugh. I had to step out.
Yeah, it was so funny, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
But overall,
I think that ends our Flash review.
overall for a Flash movie, I didn't really like a whole lot of it, but
Mhm.
there was some bits
So,
in it that were enjoyable.
Rate it 1 to 10. What are you
1 to
giving it?
10? I give it a 4 out of 10.
Dang, bro.
It just wasn't it for me. The 4 is only because of the few laughs I got.
Would it have been a 5 if you caught the sex joke?
Probably.
I give it a 7 out of 10.
A 7 out of 10.
I feel like that's as high as I can go.
Yeah, so basically, for more than a conversation, you're getting basically like a 5.5, 5.75 rating on.
Yeah, you just gotta break down the rating a little bit, bro.
But
Just rate it a 5 out of 10, and we'll say the movie's a 6 out of 10.
all right, that's fine. Yeah, we'll say
Okay.
6 out of 10.
All right,
Because movie really was just mid. Now that I think about it,
I could go down a point, but you had to go up too.
Okay, that gives for us. We give a Flash movie a 60, which is a D, so
Yeah.
it passes the film test in some colleges.
I don't know, man.
I don't even like thinking, but anyway, moving on from the Flash to possibly our last topic of the day, we're going to be talking about something new coming to our hometown, or well, my hometown. Currently, in Georgia, they have proposed two new arena style places coming to Georgia. One's going to be coming to Conyers. That'll be a 10,000 seat soccer stadium. Then, like seen in that photo right there, it's going to be a massive, like 750 acre complex in like Forsyth County, or Forsyth County or whatever. They're calling it the Gathering at Forsyth. And for me, I want to sit there and think about what impact will these two arenas have on Georgia. And so we'll talk about the soccer one first, coming to Conyers. For me,
Right.
for this one coming to Conyers, I like the idea of it because there isn't like really any, like on paper it looks like a really good idea essentially, because there isn't a whole lot of
Conyers-
like sports complexes
Right.
in Conyers. But I know one extremely bad negative that's going to come from this.
Conyers is already so heavily trafficked,
That's exactly what I was about to say.
and it's gonna make it so worse.
Every time there's a game, 138 going to be locked down, standstill traffic. You can't get anywhere.
It's gonna basically be like Atlanta.
Yeah, for real. It's going to turn Rockdale into like Atlanta style traffic.
Yeah.
Which,
it's
looking
gonna-
at it, it's just like, oh yeah, massive 10,000 seat soccer stadium, hoping to host a 2026 World Cup for women's soccer.
hmm
And it's just like pros and cons. Sure, it's cool. It's going over there by the horse park. So it doesn't really, or it's not really going in like a heavily like populated area. It's going literally just like in the middle of the woods type deal. And
It's just gonna make it frustrating.
it is really, I think it's
But I mean, if they only do women's soccer there, is it really gonna be?
well, yeah, the thing is the reason it's women's soccer is because they're only making it 10,000 seats.
Right.
While you have like stadiums like Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, where they have Atlanta United play,
hmm
they can hold like over twice that. Actually, let me fact check.
Mercedes
How many
Benz
seats
is so
does-
beautiful, bro.
It is. That's one of like the staple pieces of Atlanta. The one things I like about it. If only we could get a good football team in there.
We're gonna be good this year, bro. Okay.
Mercedes Benz Stadium number of seats.
I'm pretty sure it holds like a lot, way more than 20,000.
The Falcons unveiled a conceptual design for a new stadium on June 18th, 2013, with a proposed capacity of 70,000 spectators.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
that's a big thing. Like, Mercedes-Benz will already hold, like, 7 times as much as this arena will hold. But the thing is I actually, but how much traffic and how much viewership is it actually going to have? Because, 10,000 seats, it's not a big place. I think even State Farm Arena has more. Like, State Farm Arena has, like, 35,000 seats or something like that. So it's smaller than even State Farm Arena, which to me seems really small. And so this place, it's going to be super small. And it's for women's soccer, and I hate to say it, but women's soccer doesn't have a big as audience as men's soccer, and that's one of the things that's like fueling the whole equal rights for women's soccer debate that's been going on for a while now, for equal pay.
I mean, yes and no, but I feel like at the same token, like, I'm not into soccer in general,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's gonna basically be in our backyard. I mean,
yeah,
they're like, oh, it's $35 a ticket for some good seats. I'm probably gonna go to a few games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because it's like 20 minutes away from me.
Right.
So there's that addition. So
What do you mean? It's
it
like
might
5
just be
minutes for
trying
me
to,
right now.
yeah, it might just be like to gain awareness in a fan base locally.
Right.
But
Right.
I do see your point that you're leaning more towards how is this going to be profitable
Yeah.
quickly, not just in the long run.
Yeah, in
Because
the long
obviously,
run.
if it's here for 20 years, 30 years, it's going to be eventually profitable.
Yeah.
But they're probably going to make more money on the things that surround it versus the stadium itself
Right.
and the games itself that they put in the stadium.
Yeah. And so, and not just do I want to talk about this arena coming to Conyers, but the one that's coming to Forsyth
hmm
or South
I'm
Forsyth.
actually really looking forward to that
See,
because
that one, the thing that I've been like really looking for, 750 square foot arena. I said acres earlier, so auto
Mhm.
correct. But 750 square foot arena. This arena, they say they're wanting to bring a professional hockey team back to Georgia.
right,
And how many
yeah,
years
I
has
have
it? How many years has it been since Georgia had a professional hockey team?
a while.
So it's gonna be cool because right now if I want to go watch hockey in Georgia, you know what I do? I go watch the
Go to
Gwinnett
the local.
Gladiators. We go over to the Gwinnett Gladiators over in Gwinnett County, and we just watch a fun game that isn't major league,
Mhm.
but it's still a fun thing. But I'm looking forward to hopefully getting one back, getting a hockey team back in Georgia that I can rally behind. I can start buying merch for, kind of
Right.
just like when Atlanta United first came to Georgia,
hmm
and they had that really good first season. I can't remember if they
And then
won
they
their
won the
first
second
season.
one.
Yeah, they won their
They won
second
the second
season,
season.
and then they've been trash ever since. But we don't talk about that. Um,
Hey, we won one. That's all
we
that
won one. That's
matters.
all that matters. They've already got a better year between win ratio than the Falcons, so we'll give it to them.
Why are you just dogging on the Falcons
I'm
now?
sorry. I've tried to cheer for the Falcons for so many years now, but it's just like
Ever since we got
every
canned in that 26-3 run in the Super Bowl, we were just like,
yeah.
bruh.
After that Super Bowl loss to the Patriots, it's just like, sure, I will always root for the home team, but it was at that moment that I realized there's more than one team in the NFL, and I'm gonna cheer for a couple teams. I'm gonna cheer for my home team, Falcons, all the way. Let's go, Super Bowl 2023. Um, but I actually became like a Chiefs fan kind of back in 2016.
That's so unfortunate because I don't like the Chiefs.
I know a lot of people don't like the Chiefs, saying they're overrated, but
I like I like I like Joe Burrow.
yeah, of course you LSU Tiger.
Nah, hey bro,
I got invited to LSU for college. Did I tell you that?
you should have went.
I would have had to move all the way to Louisiana,
So
but I couldn't bring myself. I would have went to that college in Arizona before I went to LSU. I just can't. There's just too much of a disliking to LSU right now. Being a Dogs fan, go Dogs all the way, 3-peat on the way.
uh, you're gonna get ripped. Tech's gonna beat you this year. Go Tech.
I don't understand why the heck you root for Tech every year when in the rivalry game, Tech literally gets blown out by Georgia basically like every time.
Because unlike those hippie party school Georgia Bulldogs, Tech's actually in the city.
Oh my gosh! So because we're in the back streets in the country, and you're in the middle
Yes.
of Atlanta.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
no,
404 gang,
but
baby.
actually, just for one quick little rabbit trail, Georgia has been doing insane things and picking up players. Like normally, um, everyone kind of has like a couple months or 3 that they go out recruiting, trying to get commits.
Mm-hmm.
But Georgia went like 2 months longer than everyone else and is still actively trying to recruit new players. Like season starts in like 50 days and Georgia's still picking up new players. And so in this,
Good for
Georgia
them.
Georgia has
They
built
need backup for when their players get drunk and missed a final exam, and then they can't play in this massive game. You know what I
At
mean?
least our team gets more than 4 wins every season.
So, character development, bro.
Character development. You just lose enough and you just say forget it in life. But apparently I saw an announcement. Georgia's built a nasty offensive line again. So whoever it be, whether it's Carson Beck, Dylan Royola, whoever it is, they're gonna have a good line to stand behind. And that's where I'll leave it at Georgia for now. But back to Forsyth County, it's not just going to be a 750 square foot arena, but they actually say they're developing the land around it, where they're going to put like several like shops around it, several little clubs around it. Like even like in
Right.
that image right there, you can already see like just estimating saying like, ooh, that's the stadium in the back. They're going to put all these different little complexes around it to develop the area, to where it's almost going to be like what the Battery by the Brave Stadium. How you have
Right.
like the stadium itself, then you have like all the shops and stuff outside it. I feel like that's the same way they're trying to develop this, and I'm actually excited about this. And then not
Yeah,
just
me
for the
too.
the potential like hockey team and stuff, but that stadium is going to be able to get used for so much.
Hmm.
Like it's not just going to be like,
I no
ooh,
longer have to drive an hour and a half to a wanky dink arena to go to a concert.
yeah, but I don't know. This place seems cool. It seems really cool.
Hmm.
Um, I think I just saw it in that last article that they're proposing getting 100,000 acres to develop the area, and this
Hmm.
arena is just going to be 750 square foot, and it's going to be surrounded by all this land that they're going to start developing. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'd like to see where this goes if it gets completed or whatever it be. I'll probably be like 35 years old, living in some tiny house with a wife and a kid before they start construction. But the guy can only hope.
You'd be surprised. I mean, it's if they get greenlit, it'll probably be up in 3 years. I guarantee you
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I know it'll go up in 3 years probably because that's the same way Mercedes Benz went. Like Mercedes Benz felt like it got thrown up really quick because the idea got proposed in 2013, like they said,
Hmm.
and it was like it got approved and it was up by like 2016 because that's where the Falcons lost the Super Bowl, right? Was in Mercedes Benz.
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think so.
You sure? I'll have the fact checked. Uh,
Maybe
um, when was
that was a long time ago.
stadium finished? 2017. It was done in 2017. August
Hmm.
26th, 2017.
Yeah,
Um,
that's crazy.
yeah.
So I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, as long as it gets greenlit, it'll probably be up in a few years.
Yeah, it'll probably be a few years. So like, say like it gets approved to be built tomorrow, right? It's
Mm.
2023. It'll be 2026, 2027 before we actually start getting use out of it. Also, we have our first chatter tuning in. Welcome,
Okay.
Messiah. Messiah is actually someone from my gaming community who has consecutively tuned into all of my live streams every single day.
Awesome.
Yep. And so, thank you for tuning in, Messiah. pleasure having you here. But you know what time it is, Arrow.
Yeah, it's like
we've hit
I'm
the,
in the podcast.
we have just hit the 1 hour mark of the pod. Now the question is, all of our other pods have been an hour and 5 minutes. So do we take this 4 minutes and 30 seconds to make a quick note on Threads?
Oh yeah, follow me on Threads, guys. Same username. I mean, I'm pretty chill and laid back there. You know, it's make jokes.
See, for me on Threads, I don't know. I'll have to see this thing develop.
Nah, you just like Elon Musk.
Look, Zuckerberg.
You're
Not a big fan
you're
of
a
the
Twitter
guy.
baby. You're a Twitter baby.
If this Elon Musk Zuckerberg fight actually goes
I actually
through,
don't.
if that goes
Bro, what if
through-
they say? Bro, what if they say whoever wins the fight keeps their social media platform? So
Oh my
like
God.
Elon, if Elon wins, then Threads is like
Dead.
off the table. Like it's dead.
Like,
But
what
if
is it?
Mark
Like,
wins,
E-
then Threads is on the table and Twitter's gone.
Nah, but look, so like, if Elon won on a wager like that, like Elon would instantly gain possession of Facebook, Instagram, and Threads.
No. I'm saying like Threads
Oh, like Threads, like
Only.
oh, I win, you delete
Because they're-
Threads.
right.
If you win, I
Yeah,
delete
yeah.
Twitter type deal.
Mhm.
Ooh.
which could be happening anyway if Elon somehow wins the lawsuit, which I doubt he will.
Yeah. Because, people have made copies of things before and still gotten away with it.
Yeah. I think the main argument is when Elon had first got control over Twitter, he had fired a bunch of employees,
Yeah.
and apparently Mark had hired those employees to develop Threads.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue that they're at right now. But, which I still don't see any illegal cause there, so.
Yeah. Which, for me, the way that I like looking at it, okay, or the way that I've noticed it, this is just from my perspective, right? So,
Mhm.
I hate to say it for all those people that got, like, fired and stuff, because, it's a terrible thing to get fired. But how many people did he fire? Was it 7,500?
I don't know.
It was some number in the thousands that he fired. But Twitter has just like run perfectly fine without all those employees. And so he was sitting there and he was just like, Elon made the point like,
He fired people that weren't doing anything.
yeah, that's the
That's
thing.
what he said.
That's what he said is he fired people who weren't doing anything. That's why it's still running just as fine. And then now the company gets more revenue because that's less paychecks it's got to send out every week. But hate for them. But if they went to Threads to go work on the Lizard Man himself, kudos to them. But one thing that I've noticed lately, though, is a few people have started getting censored on Threads. Like, you go to Twitter, right, and it's just raw. Like, everything's just right there in your face. You have no idea what you're going to see when you log into Twitter. But
That's why I don't like Twitter.
I know. That's why I don't care for it either. Or, like, I don't really care for it. I just like using it.
I never use Twitter.
See, but, like,
Never.
you still get to see all the political posts. That's what I like doing. I like tuning in and seeing what people are saying politically.
Yeah. I mean, I
but,
don't
like-
agree with censoring people for their opinions,
Right.
but
But
I mean-
I've seen a few accounts where Threads has actually censored some Republicans for posting very far right posts, and they've been censored for it. Well, like on Twitter, where they're getting away with that. And so I don't know. I'm gonna continue sitting on it, and who knows? Maybe we'll revisit Threads next week to say if it's changed, if lawsuit goes through, or what.
I mean, I doubt you'll get it though,
Yeah, you probably are gonna.
because you have to have it. You have to have an Instagram account to be able to have Threads.
Right.
So you would have to get Instagram.
Yeah. And so who knows? Maybe we'll visit this again next week to see if a lawsuit goes through, if Elon chooses to punch Mark Zuckerberg in the face, and the future of
I would
media.
tune into that fight.
What?
I'd tune into that fight.
I would tune into that fight. Live stream it on Twitter. Elon, do it now. Live stream the fight on Twitter.
Imagine.
Imagine. And then like Mark Zuckerberg's like, oh, I can do you one better. I'm a live stream on Threads. That'd be so funny. But as usual, thank you to everyone who tunes into this. Thank you for watching, for being an incredible community. And we will catch you for next week's podcast. We're looking forward to it. We have a few movies lined up that we want to go see. And we will get with you next week whenever we watch those. So take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. And tune in next week for episode 4 of
Yes.
More Than a
That's
Conversation.
everything